White House photographers often capture history in the making, but sometimes they capture images that have nothing to do with the burden of the presidency, but can still be among the most important images of that presidency. Images that tell us something personal about the man in the Oval Office, and those are usually the unforgettable ones. This is one of those. Chief White House photographer Peter Souza said this: "As a photographer, you know when you have a unique moment, but I didn't realize the extent to which this one would take on a life of its own." That one became an instant favorite of the staff. I think people are struck by the fact that the President of the United States was willing to bend down and let a little boy feel his head. The photo inspired Jonathan Capehart to recently write this: "Obama gets a bum rap for not talking more openly about race. Some critics think he ignores the issue, either out of fear or lack of real concern. But what they don't get, and what the Souza photo perfectly illustrates, is that the president addresses so much about race without ever opening his mouth." Joining me now, the young man in that photograph, Jacob, Philadelphia. He's joined by his parents, Carlton and Roseanne, and his brother Isaac. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Jacob, what did you say that made the president do that and let you reach over and touch his hair?
I asked him if I could touch his hair.
And why did you ask him that? Why did you want to do that?
Because I was wondering if we had the same haircut and it was in common.
And what did it feel like when you put your hand over there?
It felt the same.
Carlton, Dad, you have unpredictable kids, it seems. Did you have any feeling in the Oval Office, a place where you'd been before working in the White House, that Jacob might do something like this?
Well, it was surprising. I mean, I knew that his mother had told me that every time he goes to the barber, he always tells the barber that he wants a haircut just like President Obama. And so on the way there, I said, "Hey, look, if you guys have any questions, just make sure that you raise it with the president." And it was very surprising that he actually raised that question. But it was memorable. I never expected the president to actually bend over and allow him to touch his hair. It was
well. You're observing a White House tradition. You served on the staff of the National Security Council. You were leaving that job, and it's traditional for people to get a picture and a family picture with the president on the way out. Isaac, what was it like for you to be in the Oval Office with the president that day?
It was special. I believe that it was a certain moment that I'll never have again, or possibly will not.
Roseanne, your family, and thanks to Jacob's request, actually, now has a place in the cultural history of this country. That's a moment that, as Jonathan Capehart has pointed out, speaks volumes, says things beyond anything any reporter could have composed in words. What does it feel like for you to be a part of a moment like that?
Very special, and surprising that the president would have stooped to a child's level and have my son touch his hair to make sure that they had the same texture. It's one of the most precious moments in our family that I think, and in other families, because it touched so many people, that the president did not look at this child as a child, but as an equal. And that's what I think was so special.
Jacob, as your dad can tell you, they are constantly changing the pictures that they put up on the wall in the White House that the White House photographer takes. But your picture has stayed up there since it first went up there a few years ago. How does that make you feel, knowing that your picture's still there?
It makes me feel amazed that it's still there and it's not there anymore.
Are you hoping maybe to work in the White House yourself one day, like your father or like President Obama?
Yeah.
Isaac, how about you? You think you might go back into that building someday with a job there? Well, your father has led the way. You got to take notes from your father. Pay attention to him. He'll tell you exactly how to get there. Jacob, Carlton, Isaac, and Roseanne, Philadelphia, thank you all very, very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Welcome.